Listen, everybody, to the words I have to say. Better get ready.
This is Daniel White IV with the Second Coming Watch update. Daniel White III is on vacation. This is update number 383. Let's take a quick look at today's prophecy-related headlines, which point towards the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ and the end of the world as we know it. First, according to the BBC, Russia and China have stepped up their warnings against military intervention in Syria, with Moscow saying any such action would have catastrophic consequences for the region. The U.S. and its allies are considering launching strikes on Syria in response to deadly attacks last week. The U.S. said there was undeniable proof of a chemical attack. UN chemical weapons inspectors are due to start a second day of investigations in the suburbs of Damascus. The UN team came under sniper fire as they tried to visit an area west of the city on Monday. Second, according to the Jerusalem Post, the Israeli Housing and Construction Minister Ariel said that a two-state solution is an unrealistic resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, as he helped dedicate 2 new neighborhoods of 160 homes in the West Bank settlement of Kedumim. He said, "Those who are here understand why the vision of 2 states is unrealistic and will never happen. Those who think they can force us to build only within the Auschwitz borders are wrong." On a separate note, Ariel said he wanted to talk about what was happening in Syria. He told reporters, "We who yelled when the world was silent in face of the hours of the Holocaust must not be silent about what is happening in Syria. A tragedy and a terrible crime is happening there. We have to stop those who are using chemical weapons. We have to ensure that other regimes do not have access to these same weapons." Third, according to The Blaze, as U.S. and Western generals meet in the Middle East to deliberate their next move, Israelis are flocking to distribution centers to pick up gas masks, fearing Syrian retaliation should the regime of President Bashar Assad be attacked. Israel's Postal Authority, which is responsible for handing out civilian gas masks, reported a 3-fold increase in home delivery orders of chemical weapons kits, which include gas masks and a nerve gas antidote. According to Israeli Home Front Command figures, 60% of Israelis have collected their protective kits in the distribution campaign, which has continued for several years, though in the north of the country a larger percentage possesses the kits, 69% in Haifa and 72% in Nahariya. Syria's information minister Amran al-Zubi over the weekend warned the Middle East would turn into a ball of fire that would burn not only Syria but the whole Middle East if the U.S. were to launch a military strike. Fourth, according to the New York Post, imprisoned Christian Asia Bibi is speaking out about the reason why she remains jailed in Pakistan in her new book titled Blasphemy. To her neighbors, Asia Bibi, a poor mother of 5 in a tiny village in central Pakistan, was guilty of being a Christian in a nation that is 97% Muslim. For 4 years, she has languished in a prison cell for this, facing death by hanging. Her new memoir, Blasphemy, was dictated to her husband from jail, who relayed it to French journalist Anne-Isabelle Tollett. 50% of the proceeds of the book will go to support Bibi and her family. In an excerpt, Bibi explains that the simple transgression that led to her plight was simply drinking water out of the same cup as Muslim women. In Pakistan, water served by Christian women is seen as unclean. The whole excerpt, in which Bibi recounts the entirety of that fateful day, can be read online at nypost.com. Embarrassed by Bibi's case but still refusing to release her because of angry protests by extremists, the Pakistan government has transferred her to a more remote prison, hoping the 42-year-old dies quietly behind bars, perhaps by being poisoned by another inmate. Already, 2 government officials who have spoken out on her behalf have been murdered, including Minister for Minorities Shahbaz Bhatti, who was killed by the Taliban. Fifth, according to the Washington Times, an appeals court in Iran has reaffirmed the conviction and 8-year sentence of an American Christian pastor. The decision to reject Reverend Saeed Abedini's appeal came Sunday from a 2-judge panel of the Tehran Court of Appeals, according to the American Center for Law and Justice, which defends human rights and religious freedom. The center represents Mr. Abedini's wife, Naghmeh. The judges, including one who has been sanctioned by the European Union for the long prison terms and death sentences he has handed down on dissidents, refused to provide Mr. Abedini's lawyers with a copy of the ruling. Jesus Christ said in Revelation 3:11 and 12, Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. You can read these stories in more detail and get more prophecy-related news at secondcomingherald.com.